great to hear from Methods, and of course, a great result there for Rise. And if you're a Rise fan, I have some good news for you. That win now means Rise Nation has clinched the first playoff spot. They're the first team to get there. Congrats to Rise, okay? They made the Stage 1 playoffs. They're going to be there fighting for their share of $500,000.
It's something we talk about at the beginning of the show.
Every day.
Every show.
Every single day.
It's a big deal. $500,000, though.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot. Rise, they're the first team to do it.
I'll take it.
Let's, of course, watch the series back and find out exactly how they managed to be the first team to clinch that playoff spot. Of course, a close game goes the distance, or close series, I should say, goes the distance. And it'll start on Valkyrie, Chance.
Absolutely. And it's interesting as well, just the interview of Methods to say that, like, the AR wasn't working for him because they were in their face. He was shredding with the bar on this map. So, obviously, the switch worked out just as well. Like Methods, a slow start, but completely turned it around. But even Rated, with the sub, like, Rated is known for being incredibly slow, but had a decent bit of success. Ultimately, I think it was, what, the second set of rotations, hill number 1 and hill number 2. I think it was, what, that Rise played it absolutely perfectly. They were, Jack pointed it out, they were down 131 to, like, 76, and then they just got, like, every single point after that, it seemed like.
Yeah, and we talked to a lot of players about Valkyrie, and they said the nice thing about it is you can set up perfectly. You can hold 30 to 40 seconds for each hill. So just allowing those setups. But yeah, as you said, I mean, at one point it was 130 to 67. And now you look again, it's 190 to 150. Rise Nation really turning it around on the Red Reserve side. Again, you had a slow hard point from Joe. Again, like, you have such a fast start like that, but that was the big room for me. Ventilation, that first hill. I mean, really, once we started those highlights, you saw that Rise Nation was down a bunch, but they brought it back just off that hill. It was a great showing from Rise Nation. I just love the fact that these teams are playing Valkyrie this early on. I think it shows a lot of great adjustments in the practice that went into this week.
But will we get Valkyrie Search, though?
I think that's going to take a little bit more time.
A little bit more time?
Yeah.
Do you think we will? Do you think we'll see it in Division A?
Rarely, but I think at least once you'll have to see it, even for this is Division A? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see it at least once.
Will we see it either tomorrow or next week?
Probably not tomorrow. Probably next week. Again, very, very rarely. I think even Division B, maybe one team will try and pull it out, but those teams will get sniffed out pretty quickly, and then they'll just get it banned. So maybe once or twice, but still not often.
Okay, fair enough. Joe?
I was saying, it might even be a thing where the Division A teams are playing at Atlanta before Division B, right? Because Division B, we go to Atlanta before Division B comes here. They're going to have a bit more practice, so that'll be a really interesting dynamic to look at when you discuss Atlanta.
Maybe that's TK's strap behind continuously picking Valkyrie Hardpoint.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you're really smart.
That's what they say.
Yep, they do indeed. Anyway, map 2, of course, of this series, Search and Destroy. It was
looks great.
Back and forth one.
Yeah, it definitely was back and forth. I mean, TJ Halley 99, but I feel like Red Reserve, they did a great job at slowing him down. And we saw what TJ loves to do. He likes to find a lot of little openings and then gets that first blood, but they traded it instantly every single time, did Red Reserve. Again, they have a great offensive strategy at both A and B. I thought overall it was just a great sort of showing from Red.
And then 2 huge rounds, obviously the 0-1v3. The way he orchestrated that is, like, he gets the sniper kill mid-map, then he wraps all the way around the map, gets a kill from Cole, and then does a gigantic loop all the way around the map, and then shoots Gunless in the back on the bomb. So he gets 3 kills, all 30 seconds apart from all different corners of the map. Played it as well as you possibly could. And there's another round where TJ was about to clutch a 1v2, but I think it was Joe that picked up, like, the incredibly important gunfight, because TJ was about to get streaks to keep the map close. So 2 huge round wins on top of a very solid performance for Red Reserve. Great performance. Then, of course, the Arden Forest CTF comes through. I heard Jack at the very beginning say, yeah, I feel like this is going to go all the way through, like an 18-minute game, golden cap. But it truly was a very close game.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, the teams were just back and forth. They were stopping the offensive pushes. Finally, Rise Nation, they were able to get a flag out. Then it goes to a bit of a stalemate, but those streaks come in. The fighter pilot, comes in, followed by the glide bomb that allows them to sort of get two caps back to back. This first flag was a little bit crazy. Players kept going down, stuns were going in, but Rise was always there to trade. It felt like the timings were just going their way, allows them to take that 1-0 lead.
And that's an impressive flag cap, because every single person for Rise Nation had to touch it, had to pick it up at some point to get it in. But that's Red Reserve. They're going to be kicking themselves after this series, because like we saw in Valkyrie, that was their home cooked map, and one player just has bad map. Rise has just 2 great hills, but Red Reserve could have won that map had they played just one hill, even just a little bit better. than here. If it's not for the miracle flag cap, or when Joe picks up 3 with a fighter pilot, if they just convert that into a flag cap, when they have the pressure, the makings are there, they just repeatedly just come oh so close when a series that it could have been a 3-0, but instead it gets forced all the way to Game 5. We know how it goes down, but obviously Red Reserve, fantastic team. It is very difficult to close out against Rise. You give them just a little bit of wiggle room, they're going to execute, and Rise did exactly that.
Yep, that's very, very true. But the Game 4, Rise weren't given too much wiggle room, that's for sure. And if they were Red Reserve, they stomped straight down on it. The hard point, St. Marie du Mont. And it really was kind of a privilege to watch Red Reserve on this map once again.
Yeah, it definitely was. And this is what we talked about with these two teams. They're both solid in every single game types if players are playing up to their potential. And you finally saw that. Joe has a great Game 4, as well as 0-0 played really solid this entire series, except for Game 5. But again, you felt like Game 5, Rise just took full control of it. Yeah, I feel like this is the first time between like 2 really good teams where you just saw one team absolutely dominate the other on St. Marie.
Yeah, Zero was snapping. He was disgusting. I know Jack pointed it out. He had like 3 separate 8 streaks or something like that.
He got $3.
Yeah, he was legitimately nuts. Had the 1v3 in the search and destroy. Like, the man was on a mission, 29 kills, and of course Joe was barely just right behind him as well. Actually ties him up at 30, even surpasses him, so who knows. Fantastic performances out of those 2 for that map. Rise maybe back to the drawing board.
Yeah, they look so confused.
9,
we just
8,
got 100-point club, like really? Sheesh. Yeah, not the best performance at all there from Rise, but credit where credit is due. Red Reserve, they look phenomenal on St. Marie du Mont, and that isn't the first time we've seen them play very well on that map, and probably won't be the last time, considering how some of the veto process goes.
I might be vetoing that against Sam.
I mean,
you're lucky getting on docks, though.
You
Yeah.
would be, but
that's true.
But
Wow.
that was the point. People don't veto smartly yet.
Well, they got their docks is like 13.
We haven't seen
Well,
it
that's
in
the
a while.
problem. Well, we haven't seen it in a while, though. That's a good point.
The last time we
Ice
saw
the
it, though, they
kicker.
smoked the team, whatever it was. So it's easy. You know, it's a good team. They're a good team.
They're a great team, that's
Very
for
good
sure. But moving on, Game 5. This is where, of course, the series comes to an end, and Rise Nation booked themselves that first spot in playoffs, and it was a little chaotic, but for the most part, it was all in favor of Rise.
Yeah, I felt like Rise Nation, their attacks were just so solid. They attacked that A-bomb site a lot, and I think that was the first time we've really seen a team dominate over there on offense. Their defenses were pretty great. I mean, again, this is that one map where TJ doesn't have the biggest of impact, but that's because the position he plays. When he plays that B-bomb site, he loves to sort of move around, find openings in the offense or the defense. You don't have a lot of room on this map, right? A lot of tight alleys, but again, every time it felt like he got into a 1v2 or a 1 versus 1, Rise Nation, they clutched up and, well, they dominated the search and destroy.
And it's worth pointing out that they actually played this map before, and Red Reserve beat them 6-2. So Rise Nation obviously makes the bounce back, but Rise doesn't really play this map very often. They're consistently playing docks in St. Marie du Mont, and so how much like film is going to be on the player? So it just seems like Red Reserve wasn't able to do as much research as the previous map they played on docks. So yeah, I think Rise, when it comes down to it, is just they're gonna be the best S&D team in the world, maybe outside of LG.
Well, they looked fantastic in that game. 5-6 won the final score, and as you said, Rise take the series and get that first spot in playoffs. But